Hello brothers and welcome to Sigma Old Man channel. The things you refuse to buy reveal more about you than the things you own. Most people never realize this, but studies show that the average person buys over 3,000 unnecessary items in their lifetime. Not because they need them, but because society whispered, "This makes you important." Sigma males, they don't just ignore those whispers, they rip out the speakers. Where others pile up receipts as proof of belonging, the Sigma male builds power by subtraction. He's the guy who looks at a luxury watch and thinks, "That's a down payment on freedom I'm not about to waste on telling time." And here's the twist. What Sigma males don't buy is far more shocking than what they do, because every refusal is a rebellion against the overpriced circus most people call life. So buckle up. Today we're not talking about shopping lists. We're talking about the 12 things Sigma males would rather starve than buy. Number 1, cheap hope. Cheap hope is one of the most dangerous things people waste money on, and Sigma males never fall for it. They don't buy lottery tickets, miracle pills, or get-rich overnight schemes, because they know the psychology behind these traps. They're not designed to give you success. They're designed to keep you hooked on the idea of success. Hope, when sold, is just another business model. The Sigma male sees it for what it really is, a con wrapped in glitter. Most people spend their lives paying for shortcuts that never deliver. They buy into lottery dreams because they'd rather cling to a slim chance than face the grind of building something real. They sign up for magic diets instead of confronting discipline. They waste fortunes on quick-fix self-help programs that promise transformation in a week. And each time, they're not just losing money, they're training themselves to believe in luck instead of inevitability. That's where the Sigma draws the line. Sigma males understand that genuine results don't come with barcodes. When they invest in inevitability. That means putting time, energy, and money into things that compound, skills, assets, discipline, networks, the kind of investments that guarantee growth over time. They don't gamble on whether life might smile at them. They structure their lives so life has no choice but to yield. There's also an unspoken arrogance in buying cheap hope. It's the belief that you deserve success without the struggle that forges it. Sigma males reject that completely. They're not allergic to hard work, and they don't want destiny handed to them wrapped in a receipt. They'd rather fail 100 times on their own terms than succeed once by buying into a false promise. At its core, cheap hope is about outsourcing responsibility. You hand over money so someone else can give you a dream. Sigma males never outsource their destiny. They keep their hands on the wheel no matter how rough the road gets. That's why they never buy hope dressed up as a product, because they know that the only hope worth having is the kind you build, brick by brick, until it stops being hope and becomes certainty. Number 2, the marketed self. The marketed self is one of the most toxic purchases a person can make, and Sigma males refuse to touch it. In today's world, people are pressured to brand themselves like products, polishing their image, tailoring their words, and curating their lives just to be consumed by others. Social media has turned self-worth into a marketplace where likes, followers, and attention act as currency. The problem is, once you start buying into that system, you stop being a person and start being inventory. Sigma males spot this trap instantly and walk the other way. They know the difference between selling yourself and selling out yourself. Presenting your skills, talents, or vision to the world has value. It's a way to build opportunities and connect. But the marketed self goes further. It demands that you package your identity to fit what the market wants, even if that means betraying who you really are. The Sigma male refuses that slavery. They won't hand over their soul for applause or twist their authenticity into something more clickable. People who buy into the marketed self end up in a vicious cycle. They start performing instead of living, exaggerating instead of existing, and chasing approval instead of building value. Every interaction becomes a commercial, every post an advertisement, every achievement a pitch. They might look successful, but deep down they're bankrupt, because their self-worth no longer comes from within, but from constant external validation. The Sigma male sees this hollowness and knows it's not worth the price tag. For him, freedom is not negotiable. He refuses to market himself into an object because objects can be bought, sold, and replaced. He prefers to remain untamed, unpolished, and raw, not because he can't play the game, but because he refuses to be owned by it. His value doesn't need packaging, branding, or a tagline. It exists whether people notice it or not. That's the quiet rebellion of the Sigma male. He doesn't buy the market itself because he already knows his worth isn't a product. It's a presence. And presence cannot be bought, sold, or advertised. It either dominates the room or it doesn't. Number 3, expiration date, happiness. Expiration date happiness is the kind of joy that comes with a receipt and a ticking clock, and Sigma males refuse to waste their energy or money on it. This is the happiness you get from buying something flashy, posting it online, and soaking in the dopamine rush of attention, only to feel empty a week later. It's the high of the impulsive purchase, the thrill of showing off, the short-lived sugar rush of indulgence. Sigma males know it always fades, and worse, it leaves you needing another fix. That's not happiness. That's dependency disguised as joy. Most people are addicted to this cycle. They chase new phones, trendy clothes, impulsive vacations, or status-driven purchases, not because they need them, but because they can't sit with emptiness. Society trains people to confuse distraction with fulfillment. But for the Sigma male, anything with an expiration date is too expensive, no matter the price tag. He won't pay for happiness that dissolves the moment the applause dies down or the novelty wears off. Instead, Sigma males put their resources into things that compound. That could be skills that sharpen over years, experiences that deepen with age, or relationships built on real connection rather than spectacle. To them, joy should grow roots, not wings that fly away as soon as you look at the next shiny thing. They'd rather invest in freedom, resilience, or mastery, things that increase in value and keep giving back long after the thrill chasers have burned out. There's also a brutal honesty here. Expiration date happiness is just another way of renting a life you don't own. When you buy it, you're essentially paying for a mask to cover the fact that nothing has changed underneath. Sigma males don't rent joy, they build it. They'd rather endure delayed gratification and let their efforts stack up until happiness becomes a permanent lifestyle instead of a temporary escape. That's why they don't fall for luxury splurges, fads, or short-term highs. They know the cost of fleeting happiness is long-term emptiness, and they're not willing to pay that price. For the Sigma male, happiness isn't something you purchase and throw away. It's something you cultivate until it compounds into unshakable strength. Number 4, applause tickets. Applause tickets are one of the most common purchases people make without realizing it. They buy expensive clothes to be noticed, throw money at parties to be liked, or spend on favors and gifts just to be included. At its core, it's paying for validation. And Sigma males don't play that game. For them, if someone's loyalty or admiration has to be purchased, it isn't loyalty at all. It's just a transaction dressed up as friendship. The problem with applause tickets is that they create a false economy of worth. You're not valued for who you are, but for what you can provide. The moment you stop paying, the applause stops too. Sigma males know this cycle well, and that's why they never buy in. They don't chase claps, nods, or fake brotherhoods that are only alive when the money's flowing. If the respect isn't free, it isn't real. Most people are terrified of silence. They want the reassurance of being seen, praised, or included, so they spend endlessly on appearances and access. But the Sigma is comfortable with silence, because silence filters the real from the fake. If nobody claps when he walks in, he doesn't lose sleep over it. If anything, it sharpens his awareness of who's authentic. He sees validation as something you attract naturally through presence, not something you buy like a concert ticket. There's also a quiet power in refusing to purchase applause. It forces people to reveal their true stance. When you don't bribe their loyalty, you see who actually respects you versus who only claps when their hands are greased. Sigma males thrive in this clarity. They don't need entourages or crowds to inflate them. Their validation is internal, not rented from others. Applause tickets are slavery disguised as acceptance. They bind you to a constant performance for an audience that will vanish the moment you stop paying for their seats. Sigma males walk away from that theater altogether. They don't buy tickets and they don't sell them either. They'd rather stand alone in truth than be surrounded by a crowd that's only there because they were paid to clap. Number 5, prepackaged personalities. Prepackaged personalities are one of the easiest things to buy in today's world, and most people don't even realize they're shopping for them. Society sells them everywhere, in trends, in subcultures, in political slogans, even in self-help movements. They come neatly wrapped with an identity, a vocabulary, a fashion code, and a set of opinions already installed. All you have to do is wear the uniform, repeat the lines, and you'll instantly belong. Sigma males want no part of that. They refuse to let a brand, a movement, or an ideology write their script for them. The appeal of a prepackaged personality is obvious. It saves you the work of discovering yourself. Instead of doing the uncomfortable, messy, and sometimes lonely job of figuring out who you are, you just pick one off the shelf. You can become the gym guy, the crypto guy, the activist, the minimalist, or whatever identity is trending. It comes with a ready-made sense of belonging, but it's rented authenticity. Sigma males know the rent is too high because it costs you your individuality. They reject the idea that selfhood should be outsourced. When you live off prepackaged identities, you end up parroting other people's beliefs, chasing approval from groups, and performing a life that isn't really yours. It feels safe, but it's hollow. Sigma males don't need the safety blanket. They'd rather take the harder road of shaping themselves from raw experience, trial and error, and ruthless honesty. It may not come with applause or a fan club, but it comes with something better, reality. There's also a quiet kind of rebellion in refusing these packaged roles. When the world says, this is the lifestyle that proves you're successful, or this is the personality that makes you likable, the Sigma male ignores the pitch. He knows that anyone who can sell you an identity can also control you. And the moment your sense of self comes with a label, you're no longer free. You're branded. That's why Sigma males stand apart. They don't buy themselves off a shelf because who they are isn't for sale. Their identity isn't mass-produced, it's hand-forged. It may not fit neatly into a box, but that's the point. Boxes are for products, not people. Number 6, luxury without utility. Luxury without utility is one of the biggest traps people fall into, and Sigma males see right through it. It's not the price tag that bothers them, it's the emptiness behind it. They'll never pay for something that screams status, but whispers nothing of use. To the Sigma, a $5,000 watch that tells time no better than a $50 one is just an overpriced ego prop. It's not luxury, it's insecurity disguised as taste. Most people don't buy luxury because they need it. They buy it because they need to be seen with it. That's the dirty secret of status symbols. They're not really for the owner, they're for the audience. The designer bag, the flashy car, the overpriced shoes, none of them exist to make life better. They exist to signal, look at me, I matter. Sigma males don't need that confirmation, and that's why they never waste money on it. What makes them different is not that they hate quality. They appreciate craftsmanship, durability, and things that actually improve their life. What they reject is the empty theater of wealth, the constant chase for objects that are heavy in price but light in meaning. To a Sigma, luxury without purpose is like carrying gold-plated chains. They look impressive, but at the end of the day, they still weigh you down. There's also a subtle slavery in these purchases. The moment you buy something just to prove your value, you've handed over your identity to the object. You're no longer the man. The item is. And the terrifying part, you have to keep upgrading, buying, and flaunting just to stay relevant. Sigma males don't step onto that hamster wheel. They know real status doesn't come from what you wear, drive, or display. It comes from what you've built, endured, and mastered. That's why their money goes elsewhere. Into freedom, into tools that sharpen them, into things that compound over time instead of evaporating under the spotlight. To them, real luxury is not what you flaunt, but what actually serves you. Expensive emptiness, that's a luxury they'll never buy. Number 7, shortcut wisdom. Shortcut wisdom is one of the most seductive products on the market today, and Sigma males never buy it. Everywhere you look, someone is selling an easy formula for success. 10 hacks to wealth. The secret to instant confidence, or a guru course promising overnight transformation. It all sounds appealing because it promises the reward without the grind. But Sigma males know the truth. Wisdom can't be packaged and growth can't be outsourced. Experience is the only currency that never lies. The problem with shortcut wisdom is that it sells the illusion of mastery, not the reality. People read one book, finish one course, or memorize a set of motivational quotes and suddenly believe they're equipped for life. But when reality shows up, their shortcut crumbles. Sigma males never fall into that trap because they understand that wisdom is earned the hard way, through mistakes, failures, and lived struggles. A bruise teaches more than a best-selling book ever could. That doesn't mean they reject learning. On the contrary, Sigma males are students for life, but they approach knowledge differently. They absorb information, test it in the real world, and keep only what proves true. They refuse to accept ideas at face value just because they were packaged neatly and sold at a premium. If the advice doesn't survive the battlefield of reality, it's worthless. Shortcut wisdom also reveals something deeper about people, their addiction to comfort. Most want the illusion of growth without the discomfort of discipline. They want to skip the grind and buy the glow. Sigma males see this as weakness. To them, wisdom that comes cheap is usually cheap for a reason. It lacks weight, it lacks scars, and it won't hold up when life punches back. That's why Sigma males put their trust in experience. They'd rather take the long road, the slow lessons, the painful truths, because those are the ones that stick. They don't want to be spoon-fed enlightenment by someone who profits off their laziness. They'd rather starve for a while and cook their own feast. At the end of the day, real wisdom is never downloaded. It's forged. And Sigma males won't buy the shortcut because they already know the long way is the only way. Number 8, public approval insurance. Public approval insurance is one of the most expensive scams people buy into, and Sigma males never pay the premium. It works like this. Most people trade pieces of themselves just to avoid backlash. They soften their opinions, edit their truth, and conform to the group just so no one turns against them. It feels safe, but it's not safety, it's self-erasure. Sigma males see right through it and refuse to hand over their freedom just to collect society's fragile approval. The logic behind public approval insurance is flawed from the start. People think that by keeping quiet, agreeing with the crowd, or hiding their real stance, they're protecting themselves. But approval is not protection. It's performance. The same crowd that claps for you today can boo you tomorrow, and once you've trained yourself to need their acceptance, you've chained yourself to their moods. Sigma males avoid this trap because they understand a simple truth. The crowd is fickle, and betting your identity on their applause is a losing game. What makes Sigma males different is their tolerance for being disliked. They don't see rejection or backlash as threats. They see them as filters. Disapproval reveals who can handle their truth and who can't. To them, backlash is data, not danger. That's why they never buy the insurance of conformity. They don't need it. They'd rather lose approval than lose authenticity, because once you start silencing yourself for safety, you've already been defeated. The irony is that the people who spend their lives buying this kind of insurance never actually feel secure. They're constantly calculating, constantly adjusting, constantly afraid of saying or doing the wrong thing. They live in a prison built from the fear of losing something that was never real to begin with. Sigma males skip that prison altogether. Their safety doesn't come from blending in, it comes from standing firm even if they stand alone. That's why public approval is the most overpriced insurance on earth. It demands everything, your voice, your freedom, your authenticity, and in return it gives you nothing permanent. Sigma males refuse to pay that price. They'd rather risk exposure than pay for protection that doesn't protect. Number 9, synthetic confidence. Synthetic confidence is one of the most common illusions people fall for, but Sigma males refuse to touch it. For most, confidence is not something they build, it's something they buy. They lean on alcohol to loosen their tongue, designer brands to boost their image, or substances to numb their fear of inadequacy. For a while, it works. They feel bolder, louder, more charismatic. But the truth always comes crashing down. If confidence comes with a receipt, it's not confidence at all. It's costume jewelry pretending to be gold. Sigma males see this clearly. They know that real power isn't something you put on. It's something you carry within. A drink may give courage for a night. A luxury outfit might impress strangers for a moment, but neither can survive when life strips away the props. Confidence that depends on external boosters is fragile, temporary, and fake, and Sigma males have no interest in living off a rented version of strength. The danger of synthetic confidence is that it traps people in dependence. The man who only feels bold when he's drunk, or only feels valuable when he's wearing the right label, becomes a slave to his crutches. He can't enter a room, a conversation, or even his own thoughts without them. The Sigma male doesn't play that game because he understands that Leaning on false confidence eventually erodes the real kind. Instead, they build confidence the hard way, through mastery, self-discipline, and facing discomfort without shortcuts. They would rather stumble sober than shine artificially. Every scar, every failure, every win earned without a crutch becomes a brick in their foundation. That foundation can't be bought, borrowed, or faked. It's the kind of confidence that doesn't need alcohol to speak, fashion to be noticed, or substances to cope. It simply exists, unshakable, whether anyone is watching or not. That's why Sigma males reject synthetic confidence. They know it's nothing more than a rented mask that dissolves once the party ends, the high fades, or the clothes come off. They don't need to buy power because they already own it, carved into their character. And real confidence, unlike the synthetic kind, never expires. Number 10. The illusion of permanence. The illusion of permanence is one of the most seductive lies people spend money on, and Sigma males refuse to buy into it. Human beings hate facing mortality, so entire industries exist to distract us from it. From overpriced nostalgia products to sentimental clutter to legacy insurance schemes that promise a sense of immortality, people keep paying for the comfort of pretending they'll last forever. Sigma males don't. They'd rather face the reality of impermanence head-on than drown in illusions dressed up as investments. The market for permanence is everywhere. People buy collector's items that will only gather dust, trophies that remind them of glory days, or branded keepsakes to pass down as if memories could be outsourced to merchandise. Some even sink fortunes into vanity projects designed to scream, "I was here," long after they're gone. Sigma males see through this. To them, permanence sold in a box or contract is nothing more than fear with a price tag. What makes Sigma males different is their comfort with endings. They know nothing lasts. Not possessions, not status, not even the body they inhabit. Instead of resisting this truth with clutter or staged legacies, they embrace it. That's why they don't buy things that only exist to soothe the fear of death or to fake significance. They don't need to stockpile proof of their existence because their value isn't tied to trinkets or contracts. It's tied to the life they actually live. There's also a brutal irony in chasing permanence through material means. The more you cling, the less you truly live. People weighed down by sentimental clutter or obsessed with artificial legacies often miss the present moment in their attempt to secure the future. Sigma males flip this script. They don't waste time trying to be remembered. They focus on being undeniable while they're alive. Their presence, actions, and principles are their legacy, not dusty collections or overpriced policies. The illusion of permanence is a comforting lie. It promises control over time but delivers nothing but distraction. Sigma males don't pay for that comfort because they know the truth is far more powerful. Impermanence makes every moment sharper, every choice more meaningful, and every life lived fully enough to never need proof that it mattered. Number 11, the mask of success. The mask of success is one of the most expensive lies people fall for, and Sigma males refuse to pay the price. Modern culture has taught people that success is not about what you've actually built, but about how convincingly you can look like you've built it. Flashy cars, rented lifestyles, curated social media feeds, designer clothes, they're all props in a theater where people audition for an audience instead of living their own script. Sigma males walk out of that theater entirely. To them, buying the mask of success is worse than failure because failure is honest. A mask is not. The truth is, looking successful always costs more than being successful. A person may max out credit cards to keep up appearances, spend more on outfits than on actual investments, or waste time rehearsing a persona that could have been spent building reality. It's a hollow transaction. You're constantly paying to maintain an image that collapses the moment you stop funding it. Sigma males don't waste resources on illusions because they know the performance eventually bankrupts the performer. What makes them different is that they're comfortable being underestimated. They don't need the visual markers of success to feel secure. If they're driving a modest car, wearing simple clothes, or living quietly, they don't feel any less powerful, because their power comes from what they own internally and strategically, not what they can showcase. In fact, the Sigma male often thrives in being overlooked, because while others are busy posing, he's busy building. There's also a deeper freedom in rejecting the mask. When you don't have to keep up appearances, you don't owe anyone a performance. Sigma males don't burn energy trying to impress, which means they can direct all of it toward creating a life that's unshakable. When they finally reveal their reality, it shocks people precisely because it wasn't advertised. The mask of success is seductive because it buys attention quickly, but quick attention is never lasting respect. Sigma males know this, and that's why they'd rather spend years forging substance than seconds flashing illusions. For them, success doesn't need to be worn. It speaks for itself, quietly, powerfully, and without a mask. Number 12. Bandaid freedom. Bandaid freedom is one of the slickest illusions sold to people today, and Sigma males refuse to waste a single dime on it. It's the idea that you can buy a taste of freedom without ever actually being free. A weekend getaway to escape the job you hate, a shopping spree to mask the emptiness you feel, or a wild night out to forget how trapped you are. All of these are temporary patches on a wound that keeps bleeding. Sigma males don't buy the patch. They'd rather rip out the root of the problem and dismantle the entire cage. The reason Band-Aid freedom is so popular is because it's convenient. It gives people the feeling of liberation without the cost of change. But that's the trap. Every time you settle for a quick escape, you reinforce the system that keeps you chained. You go back to the same job, the same routine, the same suffocating life, except now you need another fix just to tolerate it. It's not freedom, it's addiction disguised as relief. Sigma males reject that cycle completely. They don't want borrowed freedom that lasts a few hours. They want ownership of their life. That means making brutal choices, walking away from jobs that strangle their spirit, cutting ties with toxic people, and designing a life where they don't need an escape because they're not trapped to begin with. Where most people wait all year for 2 weeks of vacation, Sigma males are building lives they don't need to escape from. There's also something cowardly about buying Band-Aid freedom. It's a way of avoiding the truth, that your cage exists because you allow it. Sigma males refuse that denial. They face the discomfort head-on, even if it means tearing down structures that everyone else accepts as normal. They'd rather live with the pain of rebuilding than the sedation of temporary escapes. At the core, Band-Aid freedom is a rental agreement with your own misery. You get small doses of relief, but you never own your life. Sigma males won't rent their joy or lease their liberty. They'd rather break the walls of the cage once and for all and walk out free for good. At the end of the day, Sigma males don't reject buying things because they're cheap or stingy. They reject them because most of what people pay for isn't worth owning. The world is flooded with illusions for sale. Rented status, fake confidence, prepackaged personalities, algorithm-approved relevance. People spend fortunes on cages disguised as freedom, masks sold as success, and validation wrapped up as friendship. Sigma males don't play that game. They'd rather walk away with nothing fake than fill their lives with expensive emptiness. What makes them different is not just what they buy, but what they refuse to buy. Every no they give is a statement of power. No to rented loyalty, no to shortcut wisdom, no to applause that only comes with a price tag. While most people bankrupt themselves chasing appearances, Sigma males invest only in what compounds: freedom, authenticity, truth, and independence. And that's the secret. They don't need a receipt to prove their worth. They don't need the mask, the Band-Aid, or the algorithm to tell them who they are. Their life is already the proof. And that's why, in a world obsessed with buying everything, Sigma males remain the rare ones who can't be bought. If this hit you differently, don't just scroll past. Claim it. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Share this with someone who's still buying illusions because they need to hear it. Every time you engage, you're not just supporting the channel. You're proving that authenticity still cuts through the noise. Stay sharp, stay real, and I'll see you in the next one.